We got the Browns and the San Diego Chargers. Boom. What happened?
Actually, wasn't a bad game. Was a pretty high scoring game. 27-30 in favor of the Chargers. I think I just mentioned the stats to you off camera, so I'll say it on camera. Luke McCown, my bad. Josh McCown.
We're done.
Josh McCown,
That's-
32 for 41, 356 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, and as great as that stat line is, Phillip Rivers had an even better one, 23 for 38, 358 yards, 3 touchdowns now, and no interceptions. So it was a little bit of a shootout.
A little bit.
I mean, surprisingly, it wasn't higher scoring because there wasn't much of a run game going for either team. So despite that, like the quarterbacks maybe had to overcompensate for the weakness of their run games. Like Melvin Gordon didn't do shit, like 30-something yards. The big surprise here was Travis Benjamin got outplayed by some guy named Duke Johnson Jr., which doesn't even have let's say third round pick from this year. Doesn't even have a picture on the app, so I don't even know what this guy looks like. But I mean, maybe a sleeper pick. That sounds like a kid to watch, especially fantasy. You're looking for a wide receiver.
I'm gonna go with fluke.
You know,
on him.
Maybe a fluke, but it's definitely something. If you're reaching, I might put him on my watch list just see what's going on.
I'm just saying.
Benjamin obviously still the #1 receiver.
Yeah,
but,
I think it's just a fluke. I mean,
the Browns need someone else that they can. They need a #2 guy, and their tight ends kind of looking that way. The Browns are building an offense. They still lost somehow, despite a 300-yard day, 2 touchdowns from McCown.
Yeah, Browns are bizarre if you think about it.
Yeah.
McCown went in week 1, got a concussion. Manziel takes over, loses.
Right.
Week 2, Manziel wins.
Right.
Week 3,
they bench him.
They bench him again. Yeah. Week 3, McCown comes in, plays an okay game, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah.
Loses.
Still loses. Then plays a better game and still loses.
Still loses.
Yeah.
And it's almost like do the Browns do what they did to Brian Hoyer and put Johnny Manziel in by like week 6, or do they try to learn from Brian Hoyer and try to keep Josh McCown in more?
The Browns always seem to get put in this really awkward spot where it's like a tough decision where it's not clear because Manziel won the game, but Josh McCown, I mean, he just put 300 yards up, 2 touchdowns. I mean, but they lost. So it's kind of like, what do you do at this point? I feel like you can't really say McCown hasn't earned the starting job because it's not completely his fault the team lost if he's playing good, right?
Yeah, it is kind of a weird thing of, I think McCown's fault. He's got a concussion already, but he's putting up great yards. But he's also not winning games, and I think. When it really comes down to the end of the day, I don't think they really care how many yards or touchdowns you have.
Right, you got to win.
You got to win it. But then at the same point, it kind of goes back to like the discussion of how much weight do you want to put on a quarterback's shoulders? Because honestly, McCown looks like everything he could, and just their defense didn't stop Phillip Rivers either. So I think. And that kind of sucks because that happens a lot, realistically, where your defense doesn't play, but your quarterback still takes the blame. But the quarterback also can't point at his defense and say, "Hey, you guys need to step up," because then he looks like the bad guy in the media.
Sure.
It's a hard place to be in.
The team. This is what you do, and this is my philosophy. Troy Aikman never had the biggest numbers. Doesn't have any records as far as I know, as far as his individual stats go. But the dude won football games.
Yeah.
You play the winner. The team seems to kind of want, if you look at some of their locker room chat and stuff, they want Johnny Manziel. So by putting him in, it might motivate the rest of the team to play harder and win.
Yeah.
I would put Manziel in, but that's just my personal.
Do we have some extra time, I guess, real quick?
Yeah, sure.
Well, okay. I'm going to put 2 cents in for Johnny Manziel. Last year, I didn't like him. I made that abundantly clear to you. Unfortunately, I didn't have any recordings of it, and I won't get into it because it kind of doesn't matter anymore. I will say one thing about Johnny Manziel. He did have that one win so far. If, let's say hypothetically, they do put him in by like mid-season and he starts winning games, I actually changed my opinion as to I don't dislike him anymore because I think he came out last year and he was very cocky, very arrogant.
He just needed to grow up a little bit.
He needed to grow up, and the reason why is because he grew up already in a very wealthy family. He comes out as a starting quarterback to high school. He goes to Texas A&M, where he just, he can get away with murder. Like the rules and the laws did not apply for him because his entire life he had the entire integrity of I always got to cut in front of everybody else because I was special. And I think something happened within the last year or two where
he got sent to Cleveland. It's where dreams go to die. It was reality check. He was like, oh, God.
That's the best way to put it. I think just he had a really big reality check now because I think he came into Cleveland, getting a first-round draft pick, and he's just like, I'm going to play fucking football. And he's not playing football. And I think he got really grounded with himself, saying, like, hey, like, I should really relax on and all this stuff. And I will give him a huge benefit of the doubt. He's taken multiple strides to becoming just a more... I don't know what the right word is. Just a better social person.
He's more of a. It looks like he's becoming more of a student of the game than he used to be too.
Yes, yeah, and it showed. The one game he played this season, he did not look like the Johnny Manziel that we saw last season, and I give him so much credit. And I actually, for the first time in my life, I'm gonna admit, I kind of want to see Johnny Manziel play. I didn't want to see him play at all last year. I hated how much the media shoved down everyone's throats about the Johnny football, headlines.
Right.
Johnny football this. I mean, you couldn't even wake up in the morning and Sports Center is going to have that Johnny Manziel took a shit this morning and you need to know about it. That's how bad it was.
Well, yeah, especially around the draft time. I remember it was like, I don't know if ESPN knew that there were players other than Johnny Manziel and Michael Sam even in the draft.
Yeah, because that's all you saw, nonstop. And I'm glad to know that this is a player who has taken the time to take a step back, to let's really focus on no longer that it's not about the spotlight being on you. It's about you're on a team and the NFL is the real deal, and if you want to play for that team, especially if you want to be a starter on that team, you have to be that team player. And I really think that he has taken the time to become that kind of an athlete, and I respect him so much more for it, and I'm really happy to see it.
And real quick here, since we mostly talked about the Browns and didn't say much about the Chargers, all I really want to say about the Chargers is they look like the team that they pretty much always look like. They won a game they're supposed to win. Let's see if they can actually get over the hump and win games that they're not favored to win. So,
Yeah, they're in that tough division.
They look about the same as they always do. Good, but not great. So
it would help them if they actually establish a better running game. And
that's
sad for me to say because Gory, he's a Badger boy. You know what I mean?
You got to give him some time, maybe. The offensive line needs a little bit more run protection there. Open it up and everything. We'll see. The jury's still out. I'm not gonna quit on him after 4 games.
No, I would. I'm not even gonna quit on him this season. I would like to see what he develops into next season.
Sure.
Most likely, to see he's got a lot of progress ahead of him, and hopefully he makes that progress for the Chargers. So, with that, we will end this episode here for Chargers and the Browns. If you want to follow us on Twitter or Facebook, I have links in the description below, and we would love to hear from you. If you want to leave a comment, or if you want to follow us, or if you want to come over here and maybe give me a kiss on the cheek, and just be right here.